out of any question that I get when it comes to being an Uber driver and being a Lyft driver, this is hands down the most common question by far. Have you ever had someone puke in your car when driving? The straight answer, no. I am going to put an asterisk on this because I will say this. For me, I think a lot of times it's a roll of the dice. For me, I got lucky and I drove on a lot of Friday and Saturday nights. I never had anybody ever puke or be in a situation that they were like, oh dude, oh God, I'm not feeling good. Do you mind pulling over? Never had to deal with that kind of situation. Thank God. However, though, I was talking to one of my friends. I remember she wanted to drive for Lyft and Uber. And I said, oh yeah, do it. You can make great money, yada, yada, yada. Her second ride, she had a girl in the car. This is like a Saturday morning. So like the morning after, super hungover. And my friend had to keep pulling over because the girl kept having to puke. It was her second ride. I drove for Lyft and Uber. Never once had that situation. The second ride in for one of my friends, that happened. I was talking to somebody else about being an Uber driver and being a Lyft driver. And I was saying to them like, yeah, like, Lyft and Uber is a great source of income. I did it in Boston, et cetera, et cetera. And they were like, oh, never. I will never drive for Lyft and Uber ever again. And I was like, what do you mean? Their third ride in, someone puked all over their car and they had to clean it all up. Obviously, they did get compensated. I think it's like pretty high. It's like $300 or $400 that Uber charges the passenger if they puke in your car. But even still, it's not worth it, right? In terms of getting the car detailed and cleaned. So being honest, sometimes it is just a roll of the dice. You roll the dice and sometimes you're fine. Like I said, I never had someone puke. Other times you're not. Now, two things I'm going to say if you are very worried about someone puking in your car, and understandably so. First off, I do suggest having puke bags. If you don't drive during the Friday and Saturday nights, you might be able to get away with not having them, but it's not a bad idea just to have them. You can pick them up from somewhere on Amazon. I have a link this below to some. They're not that expensive, and I think if anything, if they give you the peace of mind of knowing, okay, if someone's nauseous, if they're not feeling well, I have puke bags right there. Again, it might still be gross, but much rather they puke in the puke bag than all over your car. Or if, like, say you have to be in that situation where you're stuck in traffic or in the city and you're like, shoot, where do I pull over? How do I even pull over? Not the situation you want to be in. The second thing I will say is to avoid Friday and Saturday nights. So I know this might be annoying because you're like, wait, Mark, you make the most amount of money driving for Lyft and Uber in the Friday and Saturday nights. One big pro tip I'm going to give you is to drive what I like to call the pregame hours. This is where people are not going out yet. They're more going to their friend's place to pregame and then they're going out. And sometimes I make about the same, sometimes even more actually, during the pregame hours because I think it's a very underrated time to drive than I would as an actual night driver. So if, let's say I drove from, and this is what I typically did, let's say on a Friday and on a Saturday, but I say especially on a Friday, I'd start driving around maybe 4 or 5 p.m., right, when people were leaving from work. And I'd go from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Between 5 and 7, usually people were leaving work, but then from 7 to 9, it'd be people saying, hey, they get in the car, like, hey, we're going to our friend's place, then we're going out to this bar, or this club, or whatever. Or they were just actually going to their friend's house, and it was a house party. So that way, from 7 to 9 p.m., I found very rarely did I get anybody in the car that was too drunk. Sometimes it did happen. Maybe they did pregame a little too hard for the actual pregame itself. But even still, I found that during those times, I made a really good amount of money. And the best part is too, I love going out. And I'm also a DJ and electronic music producer. I still had my night. 5 to 9 p.m., right at 9 p.m., I turn the app off, park in my house, and I could go out, have a good time.